Okay, so now we're talking about you as a coach to the athletes that you work with, okay? So this is the direct conversation that you're having, right? And ultimately here, we're talking about giving athletes of yours, kids that are probably functioning a lot of times in very structured, very rigid environments, choices with some constraints, okay? And those constraints can be molded over time, but again, it comes down to them earning the right. So early on, the choices that you give them need to be very narrow, with pretty narrow constraints. And then as they earn the right for it more and more and more, you're probably going to, in the process of this, find your natural leaders, the kids who step up and look at this as really an opportunity to have more control over their training session, over what's happening in their training block, in their preseason, in-season, postseason training program, okay? The cool thing about this also is that it can feel really empowering and very motivational for some of these individual athletes who don't function well in the standard, like, do this society in regards to like how they're schooled, how they're coached otherwise in other programs. Like, you must do it this way, this is the only way. When you allow for some control over the choices being made, you can sometimes find that these kids that may not function that well, may not be the greatest student in school or the recognized as the most coachable individual, functions really well and actually kind of embraces this idea, okay? So the action step here is for you to look into your programming and really identify some options where you have a this or that opportunity and start utilizing them. Good places for this a lot of times are warm-ups, maybe like the intensity of the lift. I'd like you to add weight. You could do 5 pounds or 10 pounds. What do you feel like? And then even like the cool down, right? So opportunities that aren't huge impact. Again, the idea of low control initially and allow those constraints to expand over time, because the goal of this really will be to create that trust and that buy-in faster so that you can become and have athletes who are starting to develop confidence in themselves and their own processing and learning abilities.